This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. The Forgotten Wole by Jasper Alden. Chapter 1. "We know you're here," murmured a voice, soft and slow like mist creeping through the empty streets. "Come out, and we promise to kill you quick." The words faded over the town of Timid Bluff on the very border of the Forgotten Wole, between the great city of Grum and the wild beyond. Timid Bluff overlooked a chasm, the homes and buildings stacked on wooden platforms crisscrossing the gaping maw of the abyss. Slate and wood and the occasional brick structure crowded the edge of the cliff, the slanted walls and thatched roofs peering precipitously into the chasm's dark belly. The streets of Timid Bluff currently played host to two figures. One of them was tall, with shoulder-length curling golden hair. He had a young face, despite his height. He wore a strange band on his wrist, which seemed to shift from glass to stone every time his body moved. After a moment, however, he stopped moving, standing still as frost next to his companion. This second figure loomed shorter than the first, but the form he cut doubly intimidated. His were the words still resonating through the streets. "I mean it," he continued, raising his voice. "Show yourself, now." He seemed a shadow within a shadow. A handsome face with a pronounced jawline and blue eyes, conceded to a bronze mask covering half his countenance. He also wore a bracelet, glimpsed just beneath his wrist, a stone bangle with green etching. He seemed little older than the first. Talon and Davin Orem faced down the windswept main street of Timid Bluff. "Think it's here?" Talon whispered, glancing surreptitiously out the corner of his eye at Davin. Talon fidgeted nervously, rubbing his hands together and licking the corners of his lips. Maybe it went away. Maybe it went back into the chasm. Davin didn't shift at all. His hand rested on the basket hilt of the saber at his side. He was a man who'd spent the last 6 months as a vigilante, hunting and dispatching the more wretched sorts in the big city of Grum. "Your girlfriend seemed confident enough," he said. His tone inflected nothing, but his blue eye, free of the mask, twinkled. "She's not my girlfriend," snapped Talon. "Keep your voice down," Davin said in a would-be innocent tone. "We don't want to alert it to anything." Talon rolled his eyes and resisted the urge to reach out and slap his brother. It was true they had spent more than 6 months separated, but growing up, they had been the best of friends. Thankfully, it had been nearly impossible for over 6 months of pain to completely rip away all the roots established over a lifetime of brotherhood. If anything, at least on his end, Talon valued Davin more than ever. They were the sole living members of their immediate family. Both of them were 2 of the richest men in all of Norden, but Talon would have happily eaten every copper if it meant he could have his parents back, and he would pay double to make sure he never lost Davin again. He found himself choking up a little, and this time he refused to glance at his brother. But Davin, always the one to read the room, snickered and said, "My baby brother has a girlfriend." This time, Talon did reach out and slap his brother. A mild scuffle ensued, which ended, as it often did, with Talon's head jammed beneath his brother's armpit. He was starting to regret this plan. Smelling the odor of an older brother's armpit had a way of making the soul question one's life choices. But Gwyn had been adamant. In order to locate a specific magician, they needed the blood of a certain type of creature. It just so happened there had been rumors of some such creature in one of the towns bordering the Forgotten Wole. Of course, Talon hadn't realized what would go into hunting one of these things down. The town of Timid Bluff had been more than happy to allow these self-proclaimed monster hunters access to the village. The townspeople were all hiding, following instructions from earlier that day to stay out of sight with the doors locked and windows shuttered, in order to deter the creature from hunting its next meal. Davin finally let Talon go and again cried out, "Show yourself." Again, there was no answer. A stiff, chill wind swept through the streets, raising goosebumps on the back of Talon's arms. Dark clouds filled the sky and threatened to rain. The chasm, only a stone's throw away, opened like a gaping wound in the land, spilling with black.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.